Alright, we're going to begin our second video describing how to draw and dimension your puzzle cube project in Inventor. So what you're going to do here is open up a new drawing file in your puzzle cube project. So we have puzzle cube MJ or whatever your initials are. Make sure we click that project so we can get the files that we have already created for our puzzle cube. Since we're in our projects folder, the correct one, we go up to new. Okay, you might not have this. I'm going to go into the English folder where most of you are, and we're going to go to ANSI IDW and double click to open up a new drawing folder. Okay, we have all this junk of a 22 by 34 piece of paper, so we're going to resize that like we saw in our last video. So we got sheet, so we got puzzle cube now. Okay, and then we have to resize our title block, so we have to delete that one and go in and create a new title block. So we're there, and we're going to right off the bat name our title block in all that jazz. So we go to summary, title, puzzle cube project, author, company. Remember, all of this stuff was done in our last video. Okay, so we're going to need 6 different drawings for our puzzle cube. Okay, so the 6 different drawings. So what we go over here is we can right click on our white piece and then go new sheet. And we need 6 total because we have 5 pieces. And then we're going to do an overall view. So we have puzzle cube 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to edit this sheet. Instead of puzzle cube, we're going to put this as exploded view. We're going to talk about the exploded view like we did in our presentation not too long ago. And then we got the colors. The colors of my puzzle cube are blue, red, brown, orange, and black. So now we have our exploded view, our blue, red, orange, brown, and black puzzle pieces. So if I double click on exploded view, the white one is the one that's the active sheet. Double click blue, that's our active sheet. And if you look down here in the lower right hand corner of your sheet, that is what gives you your sheet number, which is labeled on the left hand side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have everything we want so far. So when we go to our exploded view piece of paper, sheet 1 of 6, we go to the upper left hand corner because that's where we start most of our projects. It's going to be the base view, and we're going to click the one we want. So we want our exploded view. We go into our lookup, and here is our presentation file that we want. So we go we look at that. That is the file type that we want. So if we go open, and if we look here, that's not giving us a very good view. So we're going to use our orbit tool and our view cube to give us a better view? Probably your home button is a good view because that's what we set it up to do in our presentation. So if we take a look here at our dialog box, we have a bunch of different possibilities that we want. Here is the label of our stuff, and we're going to go and name that exploded view. And we're going to click the little light. That means it's going to give us a label. And then the scale, it's very tiny, so let's click on 1/4. Now we see it's bigger. It looks blurry now, but it will get better once we place it in there. So 1/4 doesn't take up the whole thing. Maybe we can get it a little bit better. Let's try 1/2. Now it's outside of our piece of paper. So we're going to need to pick something between 1/4 and 1/2 to make sure that we use the most paper we can and be the least amount of wasteful. So a number between 1/4 and 1/2 is 1/3. That looks pretty good to me. We're looking at that. We want to make sure that we have the hidden lines removed and that it is shaded because we want to make sure that it is in color. So we click OK, and look at that. Let's move the title over here to our bottom left portion, and we have our exploded view. We can now move this around. So there's our blue, brown, orange, red, and black piece of our exploded view. I want to put our puzzle cube right in the middle of our exploded view. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Base, look it up, or look up a file, and I want to go Puzzle Cube. Right there in our assembly file. If we look, that is our preview picture. We go open. Oh dang, that does not look like it's in this direction because we oriented it with our home button. So if we look here, now it's looking pretty good. That's exactly what we want. So we're going to click OK if we're good with the scale. Let's see if 1/2 looks a little better. I like 1/2 there. It's looking pretty good. So we got OK. Uh-oh. We don't have color. So let's see how we can change that. So we want to make sure we're on this, and we can go, oh, it's right there. Do you see that little dotted line? Make sure there, and we can go to Edit View. Our shaded button wasn't on, so if we click Shaded and click OK, our picture will now have color. I'm going to save here. Control S saves it. What I'm going to do this is I'm going to name it as Practice Puzzle Cube. And this is practice for me. You would name it Puzzle Cube, your initials. So I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to pause it. All right, guys, we're ready to go to our next part of drawing and dimensioning our puzzle cube pieces. We have our exploded view. This is the nice and pretty page. This is almost like the cover page of your puzzle cube project that you had in your engineering notebook. We are going to use this in order to give an idea of what it's all about. This is more of a consumer page rather than a manufacturer's page. So we're going to double click on our first puzzle piece, and the first one we're going to do is our blue one. So double click there, and now we're in our blue. We already have it renamed, so we're good to go here. Okay, so what we're going to do is start in the upper left hand corner and pick the base that we want to use. So we look up the piece we want, and this is why we are very particular about what we name files. We're going to go to the blue one, and we're going to place the blue. This is where we want to pick the best view possible for our multi-view sketch. So this is kind of like our multi-view sketch, but we're going to use Inventor to dimension everything out for us instead of us having to hand draw. It's going to be much neater and it's going to look a lot better. Okay, so we want to make sure we use the right orientation for our puzzle cube piece. So what I'm thinking is we don't use this view. We have to use the front, the top, the right, the left, one of those views in order to pick which one has the most dimensions that we can use. I like the front piece for us here. Okay, so I'm going to click in the bottom left hand portion here. We're not going to click all the way down here because we want to be above the title bar. If we click up here, that places our first. Okay, let's cancel out of this. We clicked in one wrong spot. So whenever something goes wrong, all we have to do is get out of it. Let's try it again. So let's go to the base, look it up, our blue piece. Okay, it's right here. We have to click and drag if we want to move the spot. So here is our front view that we said was the best. Does a half scale look good? How about a 1:1? I like that a little better. It's going to give us a little more detail. We go to straight vertical from there. That gets us our top view. And we go straight to the right, which gives us our right view. And our last step is to go off to the right here, which gives us our isometric view. So let's click OK there. We're good to go. So the only three that matter are our front view, our top view, and our right side view. This isometric view, we don't need it to be used to manufacture a piece. So what we're going to actually do is we're going to make it look pretty. We're going to knock the scale down from 1:1, and I want to knock it down to 3/4. Okay, what that tells us is that it's not what it needs to be, it's just 3/4. And we're going to call it the isometric view. Okay, and remember to put the color on, we go shade it. Okay, so now that's a little bit smaller than all the other pieces, and we know that it's just the isometric view. Okay, so what we're going to do here is remember to get the label for our item. I'm going to go edit view, and I'm going to go, this is blue puzzle piece. We talked a little bit earlier on how to name that, and we're going to go to click the light bulb, and now we've got our label for our picture. Okay, now we're going to learn how to dimension the puzzle piece. We've already done this by hand, and now we just get to do it in Inventor. You might get a little frustrated because, oh, we've already learned it by hand. Why do we have to do it? Or why did we have to do that in the first place? You need to know what you're doing before you can use technology to do it for you. So here we go. If you look up here, we can't see anything. Nothing says dimension in the ribbon bar or the tab bar or the browser. Nothing says dimension. So if we go over to annotate, the first thing in the very upper left-hand corner is our dimension tool. And we have to remember our general rules for dimensioning that we copy and pasted into our engineering notebook. Okay, so let's dimension, and we want to make sure we're dimensioning in between our objects if we can. So to dimension the length of our object, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from corner to corner and drag up, and that gives us the dimension of our first puzzle piece. Okay, it gives us the length. Then we're still, if you see this highlighted over here, we're still in the dimensioning tool. That's why there's a green piece here. So what we can do is go from that corner to that corner. We can drag up. We get the size of that puzzle piece, or that side length, and we do the same thing with that one. Okay? So what we're going to do is Control S, give that a save. Let's make sure that we're saving often, and that we're not doing anything that we're going to lose our numbers. So if we look here, we've done 3 dimensions. We used the dimension tool. We went from corner to corner in order to get the 2.25 for our puzzle piece. If we go up here, well, let's look on this axis, on this length. Let's see, we've got that, we've got that, and we've got that. It looks like this axis is good. Now let's take a look at our width. Okay, so I just right-clicked my mouse. I did that out of habit because, you know, right-click, you can get a lot of stuff. What's nice about this, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you've got general dimension. It's the same thing as if you were to go up here and pick it. So let's click on general dimension, go from this corner to this corner, drag out. That is 0.75. Okay, so now we have our width, the width of our puzzle piece. Okay, now we're going to need the depth. Remember, the top view is what gives us our depth. We're still in the dimension tool. We come up here. Ooh, I misclicked, but we're still in the dimension portion of our tool. Here to here. Boom. Dimension. Now what we have to do is to make sure we have all the dimensions that we need. I right-clicked, clicked OK, made sure that we were out of dimension so I can move this out. If you take a look, we don't know the distance from this piece to this piece. Nothing down here gives us the distance from here to here. So we have to dimension that out. So what I'm going to do, go down to General Dimension, click here, click there, drag out. Okay, looks like everything's good here. If we zoom in, there's a space between the object line and the dimension line. Same thing over here. We want to make sure that happens all the way around so we can differentiate between those two line types. So it looks like this is all we need to do for this puzzle piece, because we have the depth here and we have the 0.75 here. If we wanted to, we wouldn't need to have this this view, but we're going to keep it there to make sure that you know that a lot of the times you might need it. Some of the times you don't, but we just want a different view for the manufacturer. So we're going to do one final save. We have our blue puzzle piece fully dimensioned now. Okay, so we go in here, have our blue puzzle piece fully dimensioned. We can go to our next spot. So there's blue 2. I'm going to collapse it, and now I'm going to expand red, and we could go into our red. Okay, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Get to going on the rest of your 4 puzzle piece cubes by dimensioning.